rare attack going out there. The players opting for what they know best, how it works.
Even close, we see a player across the way. He's saying, look, this is my high ground right now. You need to go back to the lobby or you need to leave my airspace because I'm looking to qualify. He's going to push on this player, get aggressive. He does have the drum gun and the tac, 2 weapons, 3 utility. This is something I called out yesterday. It's something I personally would like to start doing that will cater to my playstyle. And Link making it work for him. 7 elims, top 15, another round of placement points. It's coming down. It's going down. Huge right now.
Oh, and actually catching himself right there was huge because he wasn't forced for that super slow glide with that redeploy out into the open through the river, which would have certainly spelt his doom. And in these higher lobbies, when you're at 6
chip damage, but Link is still ticking off. He must have taken a slurp. He's going to find he's going to find this other player, get the elimination, turn it all around.
And it puts him into the top 5 as well. So we talk about those critical eliminations, the ones where it pushes you up a placement threshold or it's against a player you're directly competing with on the leaderboard. Not that you're not directly competing with everyone, but you know what I mean. The ones who are right next to you competing for qualifying spots. 3-point swing there for him, getting that elim just inside that top 5. So now it's all about the eliminations and the victory royale as Mars takes out Slider there and Tsunami takes the high ground.
4 players remain. Don't forget, guys, victory royale is the final placement threshold. Drum gun goes out. Vince is dropped into critical. He needs to be very careful right now. Tsunami takes fall damage hunting this player. He knows. He's seen the white damage numbers. There you go. Vince is picked up top 3 right now, and they need to start building up to the high ground. Tsunami going to overtake while the players are down below. Link is one of them. Mar is the other. A nice shot with the flint knock there over on Link. Getting a little bit of chip damage there. Mar still 200, Tsunami still 200, and Link is in a tough position right now. He's not full HP, maybe 130. Okay, this is great. Campfire going to top him back off, but it's only a 6 HP difference. Now Tsunami trying to overtake everyone else down below. Mar gets traded out by Link. Tsunami comes down, swoops in like an eagle, and now Link has to go on the offensive. He's in the storm right now.
He has no builds. You saw him trying to go for the high ground, having no builds, and instead just runs straight at Tsunami in that bottom right-hand corner. You might be a Tsunami, but Link was the earthquake that caused you to move, and you can go back to the lobby.
I like that. That was really nice.
Yeah, you like that throwing some like what is it, geoscience in there?
I
was gonna try and say geology, but I don't think that's right. Not sure what the actual terminology is there, but you know, do my best with the puns. That was it for the Oceania region. And now we're going to swing on up north a little bit over to the Asia region on board here with Peter Pan. And let's take a look at this shield. So double weapon, triple utility. You know, not an RPG in sight.
Listen, all right, no one called this out yesterday, and I actually asked Pookie, and she agreed with you that it is a weapon, not a utility explode, so maybe I'm in the wrong, okay?
All right, ready? Hashtag Fortnite World Cup. Is the rocket launcher a weapon or utility?
It's a utility explode. You got to make sure it's correct. All right, utility explode. It's like the same slot as grenades. Grenades are not a weapon, they're utility. That's right.
I could see there being a debate on grenades, but not going to debate that with you. It's a rocket launcher. It is a thing that throws rockets. As we're now on board here with Aim Hero sitting on 2 eliminations currently, 13 points in this one as he's now set up, has the uncommon tack and that rare AR, trying to find whatever shots he can across the way, getting a little gatekeeping action of his own in. As you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, he's just inside that new safe zone with a really well-covered angle. So anybody who would be shooting at him would be on the high ground above him to the right as he takes out S4C there and tries to get this other player. Gets a couple of good dinks, but anybody who would be shooting him is going to be up and to his right, and you notice he's keeping that covered the whole time, but now going aggressive, trying to get in this box.
Now keep in mind, he does not have the drum gun. This is a weapon a lot of players are relying on, and for him, it is the tack. A nice few crouch plays there will secure that elimination, and look, he's actually got the silenced SMG in his loadout. You know, I'm curious. So I think the thing we're seeing is like some players opt for the drum gun, other players do not. Why do you think that is?
Okay, so the drum gun has 3, what I would say, quote-unquote, weaknesses, because it's able to mitigate them in certain ways. 1, it doesn't have first shot accuracy. So anything kind of past roughly about 4,000, 5,000 units really isn't feasible to shoot at. 2, it has a huge drum size. 50 medium bullets is a lot. So that combined with the rate of fire means you can chew through your medium ammo, right? And then 3, long reload time. So you have to end up going through. However, you can end up mitigating a lot of that. 1, the game naturally mitigates the fact that it doesn't have FSA by the fact that everyone moves close together. 2, in terms of the medium ammo, because the drum gun is so good at pressuring other players, you can always go get their medium ammo until you run out, and then we see players end up in a tough little pinch. And the short reload time, or the long reload time, just grab a second drum gun.
There you go. Why reload when you can carry a second?
Right? Just throw the gun away, right? I mean, we've seen it before.
There you go. Nico now going to try and make a rotation here with the 6 stacks of shadow bombs. I like this. We watched Mr. Savage earlier put on quite the performance utilizing this recent addition to the game. They're going to get cracked for 82, gets picked up in the crossfire. You see a lot of these people, including Meta Peter Pan, here currently 4 eliminations over him. He's got a boom bow, a rocket launcher, 4 weapons, and 1 utility.
Yep, how do you pronounce that name, Zeke?
There it is. Did you hear it? I think my mic must have cut out. Let me try this again.
My bad.
There you go. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I got it that time.
Good,
It ended up going through in my ear. My bad. The apologies, just not familiar with any Asiatic languages at all. I've never studied them. My only other language is Spanish with a little bit of Portuguese in there, as well as this player picks up another elim. That's 5 for him now, and also sitting on just over 100 builds. So great positioning, good aggro, does get chipped as it's trying to rotate through this middle tarp. I'm going to call this player 8 because that is the one character in there that I recognize minus the smiley face, and we all know that Dr. Lupo doesn't like the smiley faces, so.
That's because Dr. Lupo is so old, he's never smiled. If he smiles now, it just shows all his wrinkles. That's probably what it is. A lot of players here, though. Peter Pan being challenged. Spider-Man trying, his teammate of all people trying to challenge him on the tarp below. Now, he knows exactly where he is. You can see he's through that wall there. And he's just trying to make sure that no one else is sneaking up around him. I like this play, slowing down, saying this guy's not being aggressive at all.
He only has 4 builds total, and also this is an epic battle between Peter Pan and Spider-Man. I don't know who would win out in that one, but Peter Pan is going to opt to disengage. And one thing I want to note real quick as we get into the top 10, we've been flipping through these players. Peter Pan was the eventual qualifier. Pretty much everyone else we've spectated in the lobby has more points than him. Like, significantly more. There's some players who are sitting on 22, a couple who are at 18. Aim Hero was on 14 when we first swapped to him. Peter Pan's sitting on 6 right now, so he needs to pop off and get going. Was the eventual winner, but right now we see Old Man Mountain claiming his toll. Peter Pan using the Shadow Bomb to get on up and around, showing him that boys indeed can fly, as Steel is able to build up the near side. So now Aim Hero looking top down in your top right, Peter Pan on the low ground in your bottom right, and El Sile just on the other side of it, trying to push up, in Aim Hero takes him down, showing that aim off. So now Peter Pan trying to make moves. It's meta versus top.
Think happy thoughts!
He's thinking indeed, but right now all he's really getting back is tack shotgun shells to the teeth. Aim Hero pressing down. See, like I said, 23 versus 9.
Oh, he got the angle!
He goes out and he challenges right away, and he sticks with that combat shotgun. Puts it right on top of Aim Hero, and he says, you can take these 3 elims. Victory Royale rockets himself up to 13 points. And I mean, again, was going into that, didn't have any elims, was sitting on like 2 points. Everyone else we saw had more. You have to be able to recover, have to have that strong mental game. We talked about it with Mr. Savage recovering after week 1 to bounce back, qualify week 2, qualify week 5. If you're not able to calm yourself down, get back into your zone, do all the things you did when you were in practice, in training, and in creative, and doing those drills, and playing against all your friends and the other players, or playing in the arena. If you can't get back to that zone, it's going to make it that much harder and that much more stressful. As we're on board now with Hortensia, Minty sitting on 4 elims and 45 points, was also just outside that top 10. I believe he finished in 11th total for Asia.
He did, in fact. He had 67 7 points to his name, so just there on the edge of top 10. He's got 4 eliminations, 5. Make that, as I say, it's reverse caster curse.
Yeah, great work from it there, and brilliant. So the fact he's looking over towards this far side of the zone where the players are going to have to rotate from and scoping out the community launchpad, knowing the players are going to be heading for it. And then if you're able to be accurate with the rifles, you can punish players. And these guys are beyond accurate. I mean, particularly even among the best competitive players, we've seen Asia with some of the best rifle and mid-range skills, period.
I mean, definitely, man. This is something that Golden Boy called out, I think, week 1 or 2. He was like, look, these guys are insane. It's something that you've said pretty much. I'm thinking back to, like, how early have we recorded VO?
Korea Open was the first time I ever mentioned it, where I was sitting there being like, yo, these guys can shoot.
I mean, in the most recent video we made, it's like, dude, I'm telling you, people are sleeping on this region, and you cannot be, because these guys are legitimately insane. And Peter Pan putting in all the work he possibly can. Different loadout this time around, right? Drum gun, minigun, and the tactical shotgun. Now, there might be a slight visual bug.
I was going to say, so it might have been something with this points then resetting for the lobby, so I apologize for my narrative on that last game, if that's what it is. Again, something we're always looking into, improving the spectator experience. And don't forget as well, all of these replays totally available to you. You can go on in the top right, you can select the gear wheel, pick whatever region you want to watch. Hey, you don't watch enough Asia Fortnite, you want to check out some of these players going into the World Cup, set it on Asia, go through, click any of the weeks. The match history is there. You can see what these guys are doing, you can see how they're playing, what makes them the best of the best, and what really enables them in order to be successful. As now we're watching Peter Pan here in the top 25. And if there's anything you watch, or if you're out there aspiring to do commentary, to do analysis, you make really cool montages, really cool recaps, or any form of content, fan art, funny clips, memes even. Zeke loves memes, or puns. Throw them to us at hashtag Fortnite World Cup. Get them on in there. We want to see it. I'll go through, check that out. Toss you a like, toss you a retweet if it's really something special. As we see Peter Pan pull off something special there with the minigun drilling TZD Kent.
Something really quickly I want to touch on. So Peter Pan played 9 games. Of his 9 games, 7 of those games, he was top 5. Think about that.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean,
that's legitimately insane.
That's the scoreline we saw yesterday from Spectro, right? That was pretty much the exact same scoreline from Spectro. Granted, they might not always be closing out and getting the victory rounds, but if you're top 5 that often, again, you're playing against the 3,000 best players in your region. The fact that you can consistently, in a game that is inherently designed to have some forms of RNG, to require you to loot, to force different types of engagements, that you can find ways to enable yourself to get into those top 5 situations, to win, to consistently be getting 3, 4, 5 eliminations. It might not sound like a lot because, as you say, hey, Mr. Savage dropped a 40 bomb, right? But dropping 8 elims in a lobby like this is honestly, I think, more impressive than some of the 40 bombs we see here. Because these guys are, in order to get each one of the eliminations, every single one of these engagements is a battle where the other player is trying to do everything they can to get that point, or just make you go away.
I mean, listen, this is the top 3,000 of each region, right? It doesn't get more difficult than this. And on top of that, every single week, we're going to continue seeing people hitting Champion League, hitting those 300 points and trying to qualify and make a name for themselves, man. So the competition is only going to continue getting more and more intense. Peter Pan holding the high ground. It's now 3 players remaining in the current lobby. So again, another situation where he had hit at least top 5. Goru down in the mid tarp, while Kenta there is in the lowest tarp. And look, Peter Pan immediately is like, look, I'm going to go ahead and waterfall down. I want to close this game out.
Yeah, so interesting that he's opting to use the mini when he has 232 medium ammo, but still, being able to burn through those small rounds, now opting to go over to the drum gun, putting a little more pressure on him as the player is closing rank, back over to the mini, and you just see he's the one dictating the speed of this, working top down, not enabling these players to move, not allowing these players to get comfortable and to get a box up and start returning fire. He's not threatened at all, as now Forif Guru gets the wall edit, edits himself in, picks up the Elim onto Kensha, but now all of the onus is on Peter Pan, but Guru gets a good trade back out to knock down some of that effective HP, and it didn't matter.
Wow.
Quick floor edit, sneaks the tack, shot in there, and the rare tack is enough for Peter Pan gliding on away. I mean, there's a number of jokes and puns, but I think Zeke's laughter says it all.
There you go. Now, don't forget, guys, we also had more, another region, that is Brazil. We're going to hop into their games and take a look at some of the incredible plays that were made. But seriously, mad props to Peter Pan.
The plays that are being made.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right now, because
these
Brazil
are live
is going,
right now.
yes, Brazil is going live. So we want to make sure, as is full spirit for the Fortnite World Cup, this is a global event. If you're able to connect, you're able to play and get on in there. So we wanted to cover some of the guys from Oceania, cover some of the guys from Asia, give them spotlight, give them some of the gameplay, because it is very diverse and different. But now, before NA East really gets on going, we're going to hop into some of the Brazil matches, give them some screen time, because honestly, Brazil has been balling out recently, just going in and looking at the number of players and the requirement in terms of the points to get in tomorrow. I'm telling you, Brazil has only been going up. And you say, I know your line is, everybody's sleeping on these regions. Straight up, I think people are sleeping on Brazil. Brazil is going to keep pushing. And the one thing about this region, typically, from an esports like kind of historical perspective, is they're a little slower onto the scene at first. It takes a while for a game to kind of get in there, populate through, and people to start playing it.
Right.
Once a game gets a hold, they go nuts. Absolutely, like, they love it, and they are solid, and you always see them pressing forward, innovating, trying new things. And then more importantly, when you do get the cream of the crop and then they get onto that international stage, they can turn heads. And right now, that's what Gaelic is trying to do. Sitting there, getting an angle, has a triple weapon, one utility explode, whatever that is.
Those were grenades.
Oh, okay.
The utility.
It does damage to the opponent, right?
Yeah, but it's still a utility
Okay,
item.
got it.
It is not a rocket-propelled utility explode.
Okay.
I
I still think you're wrong now. But you can see Gaelic opting to rotate right out through the middle. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Jonesies, Bonesies, and everyone in between. No, not Shadow Bomb, just straight impulses. T-Smoke going down.
What?
I know you see a lot of players more than usual walking out in the open. Vehicles have been disabled for today. The call was made due to a bug where players would get stuck in it and unable to interact. Again, is relatively impacting, say if you're stuck out in the open in a driftboard or a quad while rotating through. And with the amount that competitive players hop in and out of the bug, or out of the vehicles, this bug was starting to see at a much higher rate. So wanted to make sure none of those interactions happen today, as now we get into the top 25, which does, you get 3 points for your problem, but Shamu sends you back.
That's right. Don't forget, guys, top 15 is the next placement threshold we're looking to hit. Simu up on the high ground now. Gaelic, we just watched him not that long ago, not too far below, but still safely being protected by his 1x1. 22 players remain. We see Gaelic in the elimination feed for just a moment. Found another elimination as well. So Simu here opting to run drum gun and AR. This is for that first shot accuracy. Some players want to do that instead of running double drum gun. That first shot accuracy is still very important to some of these players, and I like that.
I think it's huge if you're in positions like Samu's trying to get
advantage.
When you have just, this is probably right outside of the effective range on all those players who want to rotate. Like, you aren't going to, like, yes, if you get a bead on one of those gliding players with the drum, you'll rip them apart. But getting that initial bead on them is so difficult to then keep the spray going on that you're starting to see some of the players opt to keep that AR. I know Stompy was doing that a solid amount yesterday, keeping his first shot accuracy rifle and making sure he had that, because it is so key for him picking up eliminations on those rotations.
Simo here still with 7, looking to find more. He's hunting a player, finds
that was not
That's not the actual one.
That's not Mr. Savage. Has his Brazilian counterpart going over there. probably a little more sun-kissed rather than the boy out of the UK. I know they don't.
Oh, no! No, Simu, are you...
No, it's okay.
He's got a glider redeploy. Oh,
yeah, you need to not panic.
Why? These shots are so good.
Well, we had just been following him. We were good.
Listen, all right, I get so into it, I forget for just a moment. Calm down.
To be fair, anytime I see somebody fall, I get like the little sense of vertigo because like one of my biggest fears is like falling. I'm not afraid of heights. Let me be clear. I really like heights. Like I like being in a high place, but like falling from heights, terrifying for me. So like just jumping through the open air, then watching these players pull the glider redeploy last second, you know, get a little bit of the butterflies in there. But now, Simu giving these guys a little bit of butterflies as he's on the high ground and just ripping down shots with that drum gun. Has 357, so definitely above that comfortable level. We say about 100 medium bullets. It is comfortable in terms of if you're rocking the drum gun, that gives you the 2 drums, which generally allows you to be pretty effective. And now Simu working his way top down, opting to run with that tac shotgun as well.
What if? I mean, look, I don't want to say this because I'm scared of a caster curse. What if Simu just like closes out this game and picks up everyone else in this game? That would be insane, right? Because I mean, like, I say that because he's like already on a tear, and you get into these like moments where you're so confident. You can just tell by the way he's moving, like not opting to build because he's conserving mass because he knows no one's above. I mean, look at this. He's just clinical.
2. I mean, that's 2 out of 5 so far. So
okay. All right, this is like when me and Pooks yesterday were trying to predict things happening.
I wouldn't quite say that.
You're right, because yesterday was better. Today, more focused. But
yesterday you were flying blind and predicting it rather than looking at the leaderboard before making the prediction. But it's okay.
I mean, okay, weird flex, but okay.
I mean, I'm not trying to flex. I'm just letting you know.
Listen, all right, I don't know that much. I'm trying to update it right now because now I need to know. But Simu is on a tear as we speak. Players down below, remember, Victory Out, we just hit top 5. That's the next round of placement points, so 7 points total going to these players. Victory Out is the next one. Gaelic going down. We tune into him first, and now he gets shut down 1v1 right now. Simu's got the drum gun. Okay.
So you've got all players but one. So close with the prediction going out there, Zeke, as he was able to end up closing that one out. But great work with the control, working top down, showing that he had that assault rifle for kind of that mid-range to long-range transition circles. And then as soon as it all kind of zoop, and closes in, right over the drum gun, pop, 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 pop. And you see those 50-plus damage headshots, as soon as you get a bead on someone, that's real rough.
Yeah, they just completely chew through your health bar. Now, Nyx here, I mean, listen, what can we say about the W7M boys? Every single one of them is unbelievable. Nyx, blackouts, DK outs. I believe, if I remember correctly, Nyx is already qualified. Okay,
him and PFSN qualified for duos. They have not qualified for solos. Nyx was the wire-to-wire leader in week 1. But right at the very end, in the very last match, got it taken away from him. But the young 14-year-old from Brazil, representing the Bills now, dropping down into the box and then immediately redrums up, disengages. And this is one kind of small little thing players haven't quite necessarily picked up on. I think is going to be the next big evolution for players to like kind of push themselves up. How to disengage intelligently and then full reset the fight. Not like, oh, I just got away and got to another box. Get far enough away or make your opponent so disinterested that they're no longer engaging with you. Also, when we say Brazil is stepping it up, this is an early point game. There's 43 people left in this fifth circle moving in. So props to Brazil, playing for late, trying to maximize their points. Really like what I'm seeing out of them.
I mean, we are also halfway through the competition, right? So a lot of these players are ready. You know, they're like, I have to do everything I can to try and make the World Cup finals. And it shows, you know, this region continues to evolve every single week, constantly upping the ante, just like you said. Once they get it, they go nuts. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Down on the Logan, though, we see Rafts in his 1x1, protected. No eliminations, only a handful of magazines for both weapons. I'd be curious to see what that middle item is. Again, just a small visual bug there. But he's just trying to keep himself safe, exactly like you said, right? He wants it placement. Look, we're still at 40 players. Nothing has changed. All right, we're in Storm Circle 6.
and it's about to move over. You can see there in the bottom right-hand corner. This is when engagements are going to be forced, moving across Salty Spring. You see Raps checking himself in the cones, trying to find an angle, and now he turns and peeks, looking for players, moving along the backside of the storm, finds Eastlock right away, and now he's dropping down, looking to get into this frag. He wants to get some part of those materials, but no, instead he finds NCAT Spoosh, and then he's gonna keep running forward. However, the player intelligently flooring off behind him. Rain gets picked up by Papita. You see Ian Viking over in the storm as well. Kyle killed Kenny. Hey, that's mean. Don't do that. You can see there now as Lechandro rotates through the high ground as 2, 3, 4 more players fall over to the storm, and we get our top 25, so everyone getting at least 3 points for their trouble. Nick's being built up on, but has a little help from the side as he's now going to drop out and challenge Lechandro and take sole control of high ground, but he's not having it. He's dropping right down, doesn't want to be up that high, wants to close the distance a little bit and be close enough to interact with these guys.
I mean, Nick's, we've seen so many replays out of this guy. He's ready to challenge anyone. The moment you step to him and say, let's go, he's like, I'm already one step ahead of your friend. I'm already got the ramp going. I'm already 90ing. Let's do this. We see the RPG coming out on the offensive here. Drum gun going out. He's trying to isolate this player. I like this. And like you mentioned before, still isolating highest ground, and we just hit top 15. Top 5 is the next round of placement threshold. Look at this guy. He knows exactly where he is.
Right, he should just let that player box in there. He actually freed that player who shadow bombed out to rotate away. He had been boxed in, didn't have an edit, so slightly awkward there. Maybe just want to make sure he got the elit, but picks up Nubizera as we get closer to that top 10. Nick's now, great side hop to get the high ground back. Looks like there wasn't even a contest there.
I love those little, like, if you know what you're looking for, and when those things happen, you think that is dope, that's one of those things. Being able to take high ground with just a simple side hop there.
Yeah, because you don't expect him to change that angle and then jump out, and he picks up Siba as well, and you can see him constantly peeking. He's looking for other players, not just looking to rotate himself, staying on the backside of the storm. You have Tiltado 03 down to barely a whisper of effective HP, but it's enough to get him in the top 5 as Nix gets dropped down. Boogie Bombs on the low ground, and Enrique Wander picks up 2 as TS MR's in, goes down, and Tiltado gets tapped with the slightest breeze. Nix picks up Lucas, and we have a 1v1. Enrique in the bottom right, Nix in your top right, Nix on 10 elims, Enrique on 4. Will Nix be able to close it out? He wants revenge. He wants his solo qualification spot. Wants to be the first from South America to qualify for both. And now he's going to the skies. Quickly takes high ground away from Enrique. Edits through. Dominates him. Enrique was looking to disengage. He wanted nothing to do with that, but Nix wanted everything to do with him.
That was one of those moments, kind of like you talked about, when you can think back to your playground 1v1s, right? Like you saw, it was almost like a switch. Like the player for a single moment had taken one tarp above, and then immediately he just kicks it on, goes up, edits through as they're trying to shadow bomb because they're like, whoa, wait, hold on, I need to just get myself to safely, and then immediately sends them back to lobby. Huge pickup from Nix. Congrats. We're going to move on to the next game, though. Light kill here, 1 elimination, 30 players in the current lobby. We're hopping in circle 5. If you're just tuning in, welcome. Hope you've had an incredible Sunday, and happy Mother's Day. If you're just tuning in, let's get you up to speed. Top 25, top 15, top 5 in Victory Royale are all those placement thresholds, with every elim being a single point. So, and don't forget, guys, this is finals. We're here in week 5. This is it. This is another opportunity for these players to try and qualify for New York.
Yep, and we're currently down in South America playing on the Brazil server region. However, players from all over South America representing. I know there's a lot of Argentinians out there. 9Z been representing well up on that leaderboard. We can see right now, Lykel trying to get an angle, and he does. It's at 9x being picked up there. As if you see in the bottom right-hand corner, tons of gliders coming in as launch pads and rifts are utilized on this long rotation because everybody wants to be inside that top 25. Need to get the 3 points. A lot of players consider it a waste if you're not getting at least inside that top 25. As we hop on board with STV, XX Shot, XX. Still rocking the X's. It's 2019, man. Come on, you can do better.
says X Sundown over here. You know,
you're not wrong.
Marquito there in another 1-by-1 just across the way. We've seen Tracers go all over the place as players are trying to catch them on the rotation there. Just like you said, trying to use those community launch pads, get in safety. We're about to hit top 25. Everyone eliminated at this point is going to miss out on those valuable placement points. 3 on the table. And now look where we're going. We're moving alongside this mountain. So if you're on the edge, it won't be too bad. But if you're like on the inner edge alongside that mountain, you're going to face a little bit of terrain. Not too much, though. Just got to get there before everyone else. Make sure you don't get boxed out. Now take a look at the current loadout, though. Combat, Compact, and the AR.
Yeah, he has such a great angle on the rest of the lobby, and the Storm has to rotate pretty much directly over him. So he's going to try and get a window to take some shots right here. Gets a little bit of fall damage, and then picks up Benja right there with some good shots, putting him into that top 25, as you talked about now. And he's looking. Like I said, the rest of the lobby is going to have to rotate in front of him, has his back to the mountain so the players above aren't threatening. This is just a veritable fire range. You can see him trying to find that Shadow Bomb player. Not going to be enough as Davi picks up Digo on the high ground. Sino Te Amo rotating through with the Shadow Bomb as Neath and Solino also go out. Marquito takes the Shadow Bomb. And I mean, without the ballers here, we see a ton of players getting picked in these rotations that necessarily might not have been before, or they're being forced to burn mats, or they're being forced to burn their Shadow Bombs for purely rotational method, rather than being aggressive or being able to disengage as Shot works through and finds a great combat shotgun. And we're seeing so much more of the combat shotgun today, Z.
That's right. I think players are maybe still acclimating to the weapon and the kind of utility of it. Showager, we had him on the show yesterday, and he had a great breakdown saying currently, as it stands, it's more of like a medium to a little bit close range weapon, whereas attack, you just want to be in their face, sending shots out. With the combat, you can, there's similar rates of fire, but you can take those shots from a little bit further away from that medium range and still be able to close the gap, continuing to put out those shots, putting out the damage. Blackouts, we talked about before, another W7M boys, 6 eliminations and currently sitting on the high ground.
Yep, working his way top down. We've seen him and his duo partner DK Outs pop off not only in duos, but also in solos as well. You can see now Blackouts, again, this W7M always going for the side hops, trying to find the high ground whenever they can.
You like to see the mechanical skill of this group. Definitely showing here. Look at all these players, though. I always say this. If you have to rotate alongside a mountain, please get there early. Make the early rotation. The lobby is cut in almost half as Blackouts looking to black out this lobby, sitting on the highest ground. 6 players total, 5 he needs to cut through. Someone tries to challenge him, and he says, "Not today, friend. Go back to lobby." And look at this. He's doing what I said. Just get there early. Look at everyone else still on this lowest ground. They can continue to tunnel if they need to. We see a player there making the edit there. 3 players. We were at what, 25 players just about between that 15 range, cut all the way down to 3.
Yeah, we saw that in the first game as well. We went from 40 to 22 to 8 just in the span of 2 rotations, making it that much more difficult. Players either being forced to burn their utility, and the players in the prime high ground or in the front of the Storm are making great work of it. Now Skullblaze uses his second to last Shadow Bomb to reposition, but now Blackouts getting aggro, dropping down a stink, forcing the player out. Got some tags onto Skull, who's now gonna have to disengage. Blackouts into top right, trying to go forward with the drum, down to only 19 medium ammo in it now as Skullblaze has his turn to go rat-tat-tat-tat. Not gonna find it though, as Jovim cracks him absolutely back with that combat. Jovim might have been able to get himself some room, but no, Blackouts picks that one up, is in a controlling position. Despite not having the high ground, has literally everything else as an advantage right now. Effective HP. Has the shotgun where Blaze is limited to just the spray, and that's going to be it. He was tagged with a stiff breeze and went down. Only had the 11 HP to speak of, but like we said, we see all of these Bulls players from W7M getting so aggressive. Brazil showing up. I mean, it's been great to watch so far. Kitty, what do you think?
Hey guys, wow, what an insane way to see those games. Brazil is doing an absolutely outstanding job so far. I don't think they're quite finished yet, but we do have an updated standings list that Bala is going to run us through right now just to check out where all the players have placed so far.
Yeah, where are the guys that we're looking at? Where's Nyx, Blackouts, PF Zin, Nyx right on top.
Speaking of Nyx.
Exactly.
Dang.
52 points. They've got, what, an hour left to queue, so their games are going on. And, oh no, it's about halfway. If we could just look at the games played for the time, right?
Yeah.
5 out of 10, so about halfway, but looking at the people who are right behind him, React, Pulga Boy, they've already got 2 victory royales. I mean, you can just see 2. They're 10 points still behind, so that's what we talk about. You've got to rack up the eliminations on top of the placements, on top of the wins. You have to get those eliminations too. Remember, there's only 1 spot in this region, so right now it's looking like Nyx is doing well, but it's still halfway.
Yeah, halfway, and for that 1 spot, all of these players still do have an opportunity if they just do an outstanding job right now. We do have a special treat. We actually have Atlantis Lecce here, who has qualified today.
Congrats.
Hello, how are you feeling?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. What was your first reaction to winning? Did you go tell your family? Who did you talk to first to tell them that you qualified?
I told my mom because she was pretty happy, like really happy. My family, my full family was pretty happy. I can tell.
Is your mom there right now? Could you bring her on to say hi?
No, she don't hear me. She's in the other room, but I can call her. But I think she's not coming.
I watched the clip. It looked like definitely an awesome moment. All of you guys screaming in the background on your stream, because he streamed live this entire thing.
I love that.
It was awesome. You had such a fantastic performance all the way through. That last moment with the trap, can you walk us through like the craziness of that last moment? The trap to win, to go to New York, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
It was a pretty good moment. Like I was blessed. I can say it was a really good moment where I qualified. It just yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like a great moment of my life to be first place of EU.
Have you ever been to New York before or the United States?
I only was 1 time on vacation, I think, and it was in Italia, but that's it.
Nice.
Like I only, but on New York is something vacation, I think, and it's something nice.
So now you're going to be coming to New York at the end of July. I'm so excited to see you there. So now that you know that you've qualified, how are you going to change up your practice to continue to improve to be prepared for the World Cup finals?
I still gonna probably play all the weekends, like season 6. I mean week 6, week 7. I'm just gonna try to place every time good and consistent. I think that's the best practice you can probably do.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, are you doing anything special for Mother's Day? Is it the same day in Germany as it is in North America?
For Mother's Day, I gonna give all the money that I want to my mother. Because I stopped playing the game because I was trying to help my mom out of the bills and everything. But I'm gonna give everything to my mom.
Oh my
That's
God,
amazing.
that just made me emotional.
I'm about to cry.
What a fantastic son. I'm so glad that she's supporting you on this journey, and now you're supporting her back. You just won a significant amount of money, and with that qualification, you've got a guaranteed amount of money as well. And after end of July, you could end up a millionaire, Lecce. That's absolutely insane. So cool to chat with you. Thank you so much for coming online with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing you play in the upcoming weekends as well.
Yeah, thanks again. Yeah, thanks as well.
Thank you, man.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.
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 Bye. So cool. Oh my
I'm still tearing up, man.
My heart. Oh, Mother's Day. I love hearing that. And anytime that I'm seeing parents that are understanding this Fortnite world and supporting their kids, man, like this.
We wouldn't be here if
This
it
is
wasn't
an
for
open
them.
qualifier. Yeah, anyone has a chance to make it into this. You just got to keep practicing and doing your best. So we are going to go to a break, and when we come back, we've got North America East games that are starting up, and we're going to be following that as well. So don't go anywhere. We will be back very soon.